topic name is ecological pyramids from ecosystem. So we'll discuss in detail about ecological pyramids. This is one of the important topic for Neet exam. So before going to the in details, so we'll understand what is a food chain. So when you look at the very commonly when you look at the terrestrial environment, so you can see grazing food chains. So grazing food chains very commonly seen in the forest and grassland. So what are the food chain you take? The food chain starts with the primary producers. So these primary producers are the food for primary consumers, that is what herbivores, and so on that. So what is that? When you look at what are the food chain? The food chain starts with primary producers. These primary producers are the food for primary consumers, that is what these are called as herbivores, and these primary consumers are the food for secondary consumers. These are commonly carnivores. These secondary consumers are the food for tertiary consumers. Commonly we can say these are mostly climax consumers or climax carnivores. So what are the food chain you take? Mostly it is all about when it's come to the grazing food chains, that is starts with the primary producers. So primary producers means what? It is all about a photosynthetic organism, that is mostly it is all about plants and algae. So what are the food chain you take? The food chain starts with the producers and herbivores, primary carnivores and tertiary carnivores and climax carnivores, so on that, right? So when we look at this particular level, primary producers one level, primary consumers one level, each level in the food chain commonly called as a trophic level. So when you look at the in detail about the trophic level means what? The organisms which occupies one particular place in the food chain, that is what is called a trophic level. So the trophic level can be primary producers, primary consumers, or secondary consumers, or tertiary consumers. So one particular place in the food chain, that is commonly called as a trophic level. So what is trophic level commonly represents by? So these are the basics are important to understand ecological pyramids. So trophic levels are commonly represented by T. When it's come to the food chain starts with the primary producers, that is what trophic level 1, and trophic level 2 they feeds on trophic level 1, trophic level 3 they depends on trophic level 1, trophic level 4 they depends on trophic level 3. So this is what very commonly seen in the food chains. So when it's come to the interconnections between different food chains, that is what is called a food web. Now coming to the ecological pyramids. So what is pyramids means what? When you look at the pyramids means what? These are triangular shaped structures, right? These are triangular shaped structures. There is a broad base, a pointed top is there, right? So here the ecological pyramids, that explains the graphical representation of relation between different trophic levels within the food chain. It's all about, so this ecological pyramids that explains the relations between different trophic levels within the ecosystem. So that is what is called ecological pyramids. So the concept of ecological pyramids given by Charles Elton in 1927. So that is the reason these pyramids also called as Eltonian pyramids. These pyramids also called as what? Eltonian pyramids. So Charles Elton tried to explain the relations between different trophic levels within the ecosystem. So apart from that, there is one more word we need to understand. There is something called a standing crop. What is standing crop means what? A standing crop, it is all about the total biomass. The total biomass, so that is present at each trophic level. The total biomass of living organisms. The total biomass of living organisms which are present in a one particular trophic level, commonly called as a standing crop. These two words commonly comes in the each and every pyramid. Now coming to the ecological pyramids. So when you look at it, it's all about the pyramid shape here. So the pyramids are commonly in the a triangular shape, right? So based on the shape, the position of the pyramid, we need to understand there are two words are there. When you look at the position of the pyramid, there is a pyramid called upright. So there is a pyramid called inverted. What is upright pyramid? What is inverted pyramid? This is what upright pyramid. This is what is called inverted pyramid. This is what is called inverted pyramid. So whether it's a upright pyramid or inverted pyramid, whether it's a upright pyramid or inverted pyramid, the base should be starts with the trophic level 1. Whether it's a upright pyramid or inverted pyramid, the base should be starts with the trophic level 1 and trophic level 2, so on. So this is what the position of the pyramid can be upright. This is what upright pyramid. This is what inverted pyramid. So there are three types of pyramids. That was explained by Charles Elton. What are the three types of pyramids? So one is pyramids of number. One is what? So pyramids of number, pyramids of biomass, and pyramids of energy. What are the three types of pyramids? So one is pyramids of number. One is pyramids of number. The second one, pyramids of biomass. Pyramids of biomass, and the third one, it is all about pyramids of energy. So there are three types of pyramids are there. That is explained by Charles Elton. As I said, what are the pyramid you take? It can be upright pyramid, it can be inverted pyramid. So there are three types of pyramids: pyramids of number, pyramids of biomass, and pyramids of energy. So let us discuss in detail about each and every pyramid. Again, one more point we need to understand when it's come to upright pyramid. A upright pyramid can be always upright. There is a one option, always upright, or a mostly upright. A pyramid can be always upright or mostly upright. When you say always upright, there is no exceptions at all. What are the ecosystem you take? It can be a grassland, it can be forest ecosystem, it can be sea ecosystem. What are the ecosystem it takes? It's always upright means there is no exceptions at all. Now when it's come to the mostly upright means what? Means in some ecosystems the pyramid can be inverted. When you say mostly means there is a possibility of inverted examples also there. Which are inverted examples are very important. For example, let us start with the pyramids of number. So pyramids of number means what? So when you take what are the ecosystem, it can be forest, it can be grassland. It's all about what I said. It is all about the ecological pyramid. It is all about relation between different trophic levels. What are the ecosystem you take? The primary producers number always higher than the primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. Right? The primary producer number, it's all about number of organisms. It's all about number of organisms. All number of organisms which are present in the one trophic level. That is what is called a primary producers level or trophic level 1. It's all about in terms of relation, in terms of number. That is what the graphical representation of number of organisms in each trophic level. So let us see the pyramids of number. The pyramids of number, it is all about mostly upright. When you say mostly upright means what? There must be some exceptions are there. So what are the examples for pyramids of number? One is forest ecosystem and a grassland ecosystem. Forest ecosystem and a grassland ecosystem. So when you look at the forest ecosystem, the trophic level 1, What is there in the trophic level 1? Trophic level 1 always it is all about primary producers. That is all about primary producers, trophic level 1. Primary consumers, it is all about trophic level 2. And secondary consumers, it is all about trophic level 3. And so on. It is all about tertiary consumers, it is all about trophic level 4. So this is what forest ecosystem. When you look at the forest ecosystem, it's all about approximately 5, 8, 4, 2. It's all about hypothetical numbers. So when you look at any ecosystem, these many plants are there. That is what the intention of the scientist. When you look at the forest ecosystem or grassland ecosystem, so these many plants are there. On the top of these many plants, there are these many primary consumers or herbivores are there. And on the top of this 357,000 secondary consumers are there, and if you look at the tertiary consumers, it's all about 3 or 4. So it's primary consumers, it is all about. So when you look at all, it's all about the plants, and here it is all about herbivores. Here it is all about primary carnivores. It can be any organism which feeds on the herbivores. It can be a dog, it can be a snake, it can be a frog. When you look at the tertiary consumers, mostly it is all about bigger animals like tiger. So when you look at the forest ecosystem or grassland ecosystem, the primary producer number is always very higher. When you look at the shape of the pyramid, it seems to be the relation between each trophic level, it seems to be a pyramid shape. So the pyramids of number mostly upright. So why? Because it's a broad base is there. There is a gradual decrease when it's come to the upper side of the pyramid. So it's all about mostly upright. Then what is the exception? It is all about. There is one exception when it's come to the pyramids of number. It is all about a single large tree ecosystem. It is all about a single large tree ecosystem. So what is there in the single large tree ecosystem? When you look at the single large tree ecosystem, there is only one tree is there. On the top of the one tree, 1,000 insects. So one tree, 1,000 insects. How it looks like? So who are it? Whatever the pyramid you take, let's say inverted pyramid or upright pyramid, it starts with the producers, right? The producers number is very less and the insects number is very high. The pyramid seems to be a inverted pyramid. When you take the trophic level 1, when you take the trophic level 2, it seems to be a inverted pyramid. It's a inverted pyramid. So when you take the other trophic levels, when you take that, who feeds on insects? Who feeds on insects? A small birds can feed on insects. Who feeds on small birds? The bigger birds can feed on small birds. So when you take the trophic level 3, there must be a 50 birds are there. Let us say that small birds are there. So there are 1 or 2 big birds are there. So means what? When you take that trophic level 3, trophic level 4 for the in terms of relationship, when you take all the trophic levels for the account, it seems to be a spindle shaped pyramid. It seems to be a spindle shaped pyramid when it's come to the, when you take into the account, it seems to be a spindle shaped pyramid. It's a spindle shaped pyramid when you take into the account T1, T2 along with that T3 and T4. So what is the exception for pyramids of number? It is all about a single large tree ecosystem is the exception. When you take the T1 and T2, when you consider the T3 and T4, it seems to be a spindle shaped pyramid. Now coming to the pyramids of biomass, it's both are related. Then more in number, more biomass, right? So the same way pyramids of biomass, it's also mostly upright. When you say mostly upright means what? When you say mostly upright, there must be some exceptions are there. The pyramids of biomass also seems to be same. So when you look at the base of the pyramid, so more in number means what? These many plants are there. Let us take the same example of forest ecosystem. So it is all about we have to take into the kilograms per square meter. So when you look at the plants, let us say this is what something called a 900 kgs weight here. here it is all about. So here it is all about, you can take 200 kgs weight, or you can take here 50 kgs. Here you can take 1.5 kgs of weight. So we said there is a gradual decrease in the biomass from a trophic level 1 to, so trophic level 1 to trophic level 4. There is a gradual decrease in the biomass. So this is what seems to be a mostly upright pyramid. It's a triangular shape. So when more in number, it's a biomass also very commonly higher, right? So what is the exception here? The exception here, it is all about a sea ecosystem. When you look at the sea ecosystem, the phytoplankton standing crab, the phytoplankton biomass is much lesser than that of the fish who feeds on the phytoplankton. The fish weight is much higher than that of the producers. Who are the producers in the sea ecosystem? The producers in the sea ecosystem, it is all about phytoplankton. Who feeds on phytoplankton? It's zooplankton, and fish also feeds on this particular. The fish can be fed on here. The fish biomass is much higher. The weight of the fish is much higher. When you look at the phytoplankton weight is about milligrams or micrograms. But how they can be sufficient for that much of big fish? The planktons can, their reproductive capacity is much higher than that of the fish. They can produce millions of phytoplankton within seconds, minutes of time. So when it comes to the fish weight is much higher than that of the fish height is much higher than that of the phytoplankton. So this is what is called. So what we can understand, this is a inverted pyramid when it comes to the sea ecosystem. The phytoplankton, the standing crop of the phytoplankton much lower than that of fish. The standing crop of phytoplankton much lower than that of zooplankton. So here, what are the exceptions here? Pyramids of number, it is all about single large ecosystem, single tree ecosystem. What is the exception here? It's all about the sea ecosystem. The phytoplankton standing crop is much lesser than that of the fish. Now coming to the pyramids of energy. The pyramids of energy always upright. The pyramids of energy always upright. Why it is always upright? Only 10% of energy. So 10% of energy, it is all about. It's only 10% of energy that can transform from one trophic level to the next trophic level, whatever the ecosystem you take. Whatever the ecosystem you take, only 10% of energy that will transform to that is available for the next ecosystem, next trophic level. So only when you look at the T1, so this is what this much of energy is there. So commonly joules, we can say that. So T2, T3, T4, T5, whatever the trophic level you take, so only 10% of that energy will move into that is available for the next trophic level. So here it is all about pyramids of energy always upright, always upright. So exceptions are very important for exam. What is important? Exceptions are very important for exam. So what are the exceptions for pyramids of number? What are the exceptions for pyramids of biomass? So when you look at the ecological pyramids, there are certain limitations are there. So what are the limitations of ecological pyramids? So what are the limitations of, or what are the drawbacks of ecological pyramids? When you look at the limitations of the ecosystem or limitations of the ecological pyramids, they do not account one organism may occupy more than one trophic level, right? They are not taken account as one organism may occupy more than one trophic level. You can see in the grassland ecosystem or forest ecosystem. So the way a frog can, when you look at the any organism, there are some organisms who can feed on both plants and animals. Omnivores are there, right? So omnivores can occupy trophic level 2 or trophic level 3. They can feed on plants, they can feed on other organisms. So one organism may occupy more than one trophic level. They do not consider that a point. And the second point, so when it comes to it seems to be a very simple food chain. When you look at the trophic level plants, herbivores, it seems to be very simple food chain. There is a plant, there is a herbivore, there is a carnivore, there is a tertiary carnivore, but this type of simple food chains never exist. So what is the first limitation it is all about? The first limitation it is all about one organism may occupy more than one trophic level. but they are not considered those animals more than one trophic level. And the second limitation it is all about, it seems to be simple food chains. A simple food chains never exist in the ecosystem. No simple food chains. No simple food chains. And they are not considered. They are not given any explanation about the food webs. They are not explained about the food webs. And finally, it is all about most important point. It's all about decomposers or saprophytes. So they plays a very vital role when it comes to the ecosystem. If there is no saprophyte, if there is no decomposer, entire this planet becomes a burial ground, right? So there is a very important role when it comes to the decomposers or saprophytes, but there is no place for saprophytes or decomposers when it comes to the ecological pyramids. So they have not given importance to saprophytes. So these are the certain limitations of ecological pyramids. So what is important for our NEET exam? It is all about what are the examples for each and every pyramid, which are mostly upright, which are always upright, where there are some exceptions. These are the things are important, and 4 limitations are very important for exam. The limitations are important. The examples for inverted pyramids of biomass, inverted pyramids of number. So again, pyramids of energy, it's all about only 10% of energy that is available for the next trophic level. So these are the things are very important. Thank you.